Hello, fellow wanderers, I'm Endri, and thank you for joining me as we wander through some more Sunless Sea. So, since last time I went out and I got a bunch of sinkstone, not actually that many shipments, I think I only got 3 more. And we've got a new event here. Deliver Sinkstones 2. A smiling woman in elegant jonquil gown places a gloved hand on your arm. Are you waiting for the ministry men? They won't be coming, but I have a proposition for you. Her skin glows with health. Her smile is wise and merciless. That stone's full of old memories. The bazaar's been drinking them. She nods at the spires that loom over London, the dark limbs that sprawl through the streets. I have a better destination. Help us bring light here below, and we will reward you richly. Those bright eyes, the unmistakable mark of the Dawn Machine. None understand the Dawn Machine, but all fear it. Who knows what its motives are? Or hers. I'm going to refuse her. Not an admirer of progress, I see. Well then, keep your stone, keep your memories. None so blind as those who will not rise. A dusty gentleman. Captain Waite, she gave you an errand, didn't she? She serves a certain power, a bright one, but not a friendly one. I have a counter-proposal. Will you listen? Sure. He stoops like a clerk and coughs like a miner, but that frock coat is of the finest fabric and the newest cut. My name is Penstock, he says. The bazaar has been feasting on old memories from the Salt Lions. It only makes her more melancholy, and that's worse for all of us, but especially those who love her. So we found another use for the Sinkstone. We can set something right. Take it far away. We tell you where, you will be paid. If you've already arranged with a bright-eyed sequencer to make the Grand Geo, this will cause you to renege. We're going to say yes, we're actually not going to go very far at all. Here, he presses a crumpled note into your hand. This is where you should take it. You'll learn something, I think. I had to seek the Master's help for this. We will all be enmeshed in their plans, but it's worth it. I swear it's worth it. He grips your arm and is gone. You unfold the note. Deliver the Sinkstone to the Shrine of St. Joshua in London. So yeah, we're not going far at all. And in fact, we could just go right here. St. Joshua is the patron saint of spies and intriguers. His clergy are the Midnighters, steeped in secrets and wrapped in Irigo. Penstock wishes you to take the Sinkstone to them. The shrine moves constantly, but you have directions from Penstock. Tonight it is here, at the bottom of a narrow flight of stairs that leads down to the stolen river, that you find the shrine. It is hung with Irigo. Its altar is a stool with the icon of St. Joshua set upon it. You shield your eyes against the sapping color. Already you've forgotten the route you took to come here. With luck, the Zailers waiting above with the stone will not have wandered off. The Salt Lions, the Midnighter says breathily. Oh yes, that must be forgotten. Don't worry, we'll purge the stone of what remains. We're grateful to you, although you won't remember why. And now, here you are behind the warehouses at the docks. Your hands and lips are cold. Here in your pocket is a tattered book. We gained 1,000 echoes, which is amazing. We no longer have any Sphinxstone. We've gained a secret. We've delivered the last load of Sphinxstone, so we can't make any more easy money using Sphinxstone, but that's all right. We've made a good chunk. And we have the Manual of Miracles. So if we go into our hold, you can see the Manual of Miracles. Not miracles, really, but they'll never get close enough to tell the difference. This is the first legacy item in the game. When you start a new captain and you've got the Manual of Miracles, you get a stat boost. If memory serves, this particular one is Veils. Anyway, let's go ahead and turn in my port report. I've only got one left, the Salt Lions here. I've done basically nothing else. I haven't progressed any events. I haven't gotten nightmares yet or anything. You've missed literally nothing except me running back and forth between the islands, which is ideal, if you ask me. So he wants romantic literature. I know how we can get it. Or something silky. I know how we can get that as well. We have to go to the Khanate anyway, in the near future. So we might get some coffee and go looking for the Khanate soon. We don't have the fuel to make that run quite yet. Let's go ahead and carouse the docks, though. Sea shanties, fire, food, warp to the pub fire, and something more. So we've seen this before. We are going to say hello to the likely lass again. There's a reason we're doing this, don't worry. We're going to go ahead and... how many favors? I have 17. While I'm not badly hurt, I am going to use the 3 Admiralty favors. It saves me a little bit of money. That's good enough for now. And a new recruit. Who do we have? The Brisk Campaigner is a doctor who increases hearts and iron. We don't need a doctor, and we've got quite a few people already. I'm not going to recruit the Campaigner at the moment. Let's see here. Anything else I need to get done? It doesn't look like we could purchase an elegant townhouse for 1,000. I'm going to do that. A good address on Hollow Street. It won't be cheap. So this will let us now rest here, which will give us a good night's sleep. And we can visit our study, a private sanctuary. Once your lodgings are large enough to support a study, you can create items such as an ironclad well, a whispering trophy cabinet, or a Song of the Sea. Here you may catch up with your correspondence, rest, or retire altogether from seafaring life. The better your lodgings, the better your quality of retirement. Naturally. So we're going to go down here, and we want to go write a will. The Court of Chancery, as a roaring lion walketh about seeking whom it will devour. Ensure it doesn't get its lion tentacles on your property when you're gone. Should you die, this will ensure that your heir retains your lodgings and any heirlooms you've accumulated. It costs 200 echoes, or you have to have 200 echoes to do it, but it only actually costs 100. The lawyer peers at you like a vulture composed of crocodiles. Come now, she creaks. There's a few years in you yet, but your caution does you credit. Sign here. No, ink is fine. This isn't the Brass Embassy. We'll be dealing with the Brass Embassy later. We have a visit from Mr. Sachs. We're not going to deal with Mr. Sachs. We are, however, going to buy a bit more fuel. A few more supplies, I'm thinking. And I want to buy, say, 5 coffee. There are a lot of things we can do with coffee. However, my immediate use for the coffee involves finding the Connate, which is likely here. Yes. So we're going to basically sail straight east at this point. I think that will do. Except we actually need to go north first. We need to go stop by Venderblight, regardless, because we need to go hand in some things. We've actually completed a couple of quests. Now that was the first 2 things I desperately wanted to accomplish on this first captain. If we were to lose the game now, I would be moderately disappointed, but not upset. We've completed 1 legacy, we have our estate and an ironclad will. And even if we lost now, we would have enough money left over when we start a new character to buy another will and continue on. So we are not, by any stretch, doing poorly. I don't really want to fight this guy, but I'm going to because he's just going to shoot me in the back otherwise. He will probably get 1 shot off. Oh, but he missed. Once our Veils is a little bit higher, we're actually going to be able to sneak up on these ships, and they really won't stand a chance at all. And once our iron is higher, we'll be able to sink them in 2 shots with just the basic gun here. Pisses don't sail far from hidden harbors, but there's something at the back of the hold. A stout crate. Fuel. Alright, that makes up for the fuel that we used up killing it. Because of course we had our lights on the entire time. Having your light on makes you acquire targets faster, so it can be beneficial to keep your lights lit. There are several things we can actually do at Venderblight still. One of them is the tour, to go around and drop off tomb colonists in certain places. However, it's a bit risky, and we don't have all of the places uncovered that I would like to before we start looking at that in particular. That being said, we picked up a couple of things we can turn in, and these will be of great value to us. Someone's trying to get our attention. One of the tomb colonists makes an obvious interest in your crew, specifically the Clatteriere. Tomb colonist draws you a little ways away from the Clatteriere. Don't tell her you met me, he says in a hoarse rasp. Her mother cut up my voice. Hoped to fix it so I wouldn't be able to look for my daughter. So I wouldn't want to, he wheezes. Didn't work. Operations never completely effective. Need to know my daughter's well, happy, finding enough patience, getting enough to eat, and so forth. Stands for the simplest news, he explains himself. I am her father, he says. Ordinary engineer, not the sort of parent she would want. If you tell the heir about this encounter, you can do so by speaking with her. We actually can't. Quite yet. And he'll go explore Vendor Blight. Sweeter scents draw you into a shop which sells candles, lilac, lavender, honey. You fall into a discussion of their manufacturer with the shopkeep. Yes, she says proudly, displaying her missing arm. We render ourselves to good end. Oh, don't look like that. Our fats are of finer quality than any other. We grow tired of our bodies down here. So we gain a tale of terror, which is nice. One terror. That's not too bad. Some fragments. Yeah, I'd say we're good. Let's get our port report. And let's visit the first curator. Give it your hunter's eye. I saw it once. I saw it long ago, when first I came here below. My left eye is blind. Should I replace it with this one? It will be no blinder, but perhaps I will see within. It raises the hand with the hunter's eye towards its concealed face. No sound is indescribable, but some should be. This is one. Let us not trouble ourselves with its nuances. It's reminders of Martian gangrene and chrysalid emergence. Take it, it says, its voice ragged. Gestures to the side table where a spoiler tusk sits. A pearl tiara is perched jauntily atop the tusk. Both, apparently, are yours. We lost our hunter's eye. We lost the Pelican page. And we gained a trophy, a hunting trophy and a captivating treasure, which are very nice. We can also give it our eyeless skull. At its direction, you place the skull atop a dripstone pedestal, a stalagmite now carved with crockets and grimacing faces. Irigo sparks crawl across it. For a moment, you forget what you were doing. Thank you, the creator whispers. Perhaps you have saved me from the sanatorium, and perhaps the emergence will be less painful. Its chest pulses feebly. You accept a single huge black pearl. The creator's fancies grow worse, but it pays well. And we're done here for now. So those captivating treasures, we are actually going to go all the way back to London to drop those off before we do anything else, because it would be a real pity if we had them in our hold and we sunk. So there are two other legacy items that I would like to get on this particular run. However, one of them requires very high veils, and I don't know how many secrets we've got, but I don't think it's enough quite yet. The other one requires us to complete the quest of the Merchant Venturer, which requires a lot of back and forth trips, hopefully making money along the way. We'll see. The one thing you really can't keep between runs is your ship. The main reason I'm doing the Vendor Bright quests isn't so much to get a ship, though you do get a ship if you can complete all of the curator's quests. The point is to get the captivating treasures, which we will convert into heirlooms. Heirlooms can be converted back into treasures later, however they persist between games as long as you have at least an ironclad will. You don't need an heir, though you can get an heir. We're working on that. Later on, we'll work on getting an heir a little bit faster. There's a much faster way to get up and going than we're doing. You can go ahead and do your worst. We don't have anything. Let's go to London. Let's go carouse the docks. Nothing new. I was hoping we'd have something new. We did not. Who's our new recruit? A Zailer. I do not need a Zailer. Okay. Let's go ahead and, real quick, we'll go to the Admiralty, we'll submit our port reports, vendor blight. It's worth a free fuel, so since we're here, we might as well. Oh, I completely neglected to do the thing I actually came back to London for. Go figure. To our lodgings, to our study. And this costs 10 echoes. So we are definitely going to go ahead and do that. We can only have 12 of them. I could read that big wall of text it gave us, but basically we convert the gem into an heirloom and we can hold 12 of them that we can cash out on our next life. It's not particularly story interesting, so I don't think it's really worth reading. This game does have a fascinating story, though, which is why I don't mind reading out those bits. So we're going to go ahead and stop by Hunter's Keep on our way. It's not really on our way, but we're going to stop by it anyway. I'm still not going to progress the storyline there for reasons. I would like to get my Veils to at least 75, which might be really rough to do, actually. But I'd like to try. So we're going to reconnoiter the island. We're going to keep our news. And we're going to head east. Principles of Coral are there. So we'll have to see. The Khanate has to be in here then. So I suppose we'll head that general direction. Oh, but I am glad to have gotten at least that first part done. That's always the most harrowing, especially since the salt lions didn't actually start all that close to us. If you're really, really lucky, over here where Shepherd's Wash is, you'd actually have the salt lions show up. It makes for very quick trips to Singstone. And it's a very easy way to get your first legacy item out of the way. It does require you to have a shady past, but we can fix that later. We could fix it now, actually, if we really wanted to. I don't. I'll worry about that in a bit. We don't have any more long boxes, so I don't feel any particular rush to head to Station 3. We could talk to our crew as well, but I would like to save that for another time. This is not necessarily going to be a very long-lived captain. Let's do the Tale of Three Graves. It's my favorite because we get the two there for the event. And we'll continue on. I guess we'll stop by Gator's Mourn. And then we'll continue heading southeast from there. Actually, I think I will try to reveal my past. Let's speak to him. I'm not going to invite him to dine with me, but I am going to answer questions about my past. Unmask yourself. This will allow you to select a past, ambition, and former preferred address. All sprayed with a specialist ability bonus. Let us speak frankly. I prefer not to think about upbringing, but there are enough secrets to see. I've just been too busy, but I don't particularly mind talking about it. Remember me, and they may never return home, but someone who should know who I was. I've just been too busy. Alright. We're going to go with the Street Urchin past, because I like Veils. Urchin gang cast you out when you grew too tall. You took to sea rather than graduate to larger crimes. Last big score is enough to buy a ship. Your friend is Longshanks, knows a little of gunnery, only a little, but she can help. We got 25 Veils and a Longshanks gunner. What's our quest? I'm going to say that our quest for this game is wealth. You know what it is to be poor. Now you want a mansion, servants, fine clothes, a family perhaps. The undersea is full of riches, death and darkness too, but it's worth the gamble. To win, gather a substantial retirement fund, upgrade your lodgings to a mansion, and retire. We're going to be addressed as Sir. We're going to go with the old man captain here, and we're going to call ourselves Endri first. And I'm going to remove this tutorial because we are not going to be dealing with the submarine at all this particular run, I don't think. Are you a... You are just a steam penance. I can deal with you. Ouch. Yeah, 4 damage. Wasn't that bad, actually. Now our Veils is much higher, which is very good. It means this steam penance is going to have a very rough time tracking me. Our curiosity this time, parabola linen. That's nice. It's good to have at least. Alright, we're coming up on Gator's Morn. Or we might find some interesting things. Or we might not. I do hope we find the Khanate. I don't remember how much coffee we actually have to sail over there. It's not a big deal either way. But we do need to sail coffee there. And that, at least, is for certain. Also, I'm curious. Journal, menaces... Do I have no menaces? Interesting. Not used to that. I am eventually going to need to get my menaces nightmares. I need to find the Chapel of Light first. I still haven't found it. Alright, we've seen this before. Let's explore the Morn. Who'll try? Who'll buy? Street vendor turns skewers on a grill. The mixed sensor, nothing like anything sold in London. Try the grilled troglodyte prawns. Huge and pale, their eyes stare bleakly into yours, but they smell fresh. We lost 2 terror, we gained 1 fragment, we lost 5 hunger. Oh, I think we've already read this before. This is now a very modest challenge. We've succeeded, so we got our port report. At 75, I don't think you can even fail it. We're not quite there yet. Though, with the number of secrets we have, we might be there soon. Also, we should talk to the Longshanks Gunner. Why did she come to sea? Alright, Captain. Who do you want me to shoot at now? Longshanks Gunner is not your most distinguished of officers, but she'll do until you find something better. What do you want from life? Con Shadow. It's like the flit at Z, right? No one to tell you what to say or do, and no one to kick you downstairs just because you got a bit tall. You're a faithful officer, but put me ashore, Shadow, and I won't forget you. Con Shadow is east of the Khanate proper in the east central undersea. So that tells us a rough idea of where Con Shadow is, which means it's probably right here. I hope it's right there. The next time we head east, when I need to get to Irem, we'll bring a crate of souls with us for a particular reason. So this is the Principles of Coral, which is going to get us a lot of... Oh, got us a secret. We're going to get a lot of things here. We're going to get an albino lamprey right there, which I really don't want to run into. Our page's skill is awful, so I don't think we're going to do much at Port Cecil here. But we'll say hi. Oh, we have a bound shark there too. We're just surrounded by annoying things, aren't we? Yeah, I have a funny feeling that to our south is where I need to go. This is another safe port where you can buy fuel and supplies, so keep that in mind. We entered a fog bank, which is irritating. Source of silver glow, a haven for the players of games. Rumpled convolutions of coral fill the water, glimmering with silvery light. The harder you look, the more you see shapes amid the chaos, almost as they were sculpted. This one could be a crenellated castle, that one a horse's head. A neat little port huddles on the side of a coral island, prosaic imperial docks and houses tucked away in a baroque organic chaos. And that curious silvery light among the frozen chaos of coral, the scene is an unreal air of pencil sketch, crumpled and discarded. Chess is popular in the principles. The port is full of exiles, drunks, and washed-up sea traders. They all play, often obsessively. Be careful, the chess pieces are carved from scintillac. Here in the principles, that can be very dangerous. A disciplined success. Odd thoughts bubble each time you touch a chess piece. This one longs for home. That one has a secret desire for revenge against the slayer of its rank mate. This will be a queen one day. Those would do better as metal. You taste the metal. You ignore these thoughts and move methodically to victory over your opponent. He blinks. Checkmate? He asks helplessly. Win enough games and something will occur. We have an 81% chance on this one, so sure, why not? You don't know how long you've been playing. You want a match, another. The rough coral tips of the chess pieces are smeared with blood, yours, your opponent's. You begin to realize that your moves recapitulate the movements of the powers of the Neath, the flukes and their shapelings, the bazaar that lurks in London, Mount Nomad that prowls the sea, Salt Stone Storm. With each move you take, the shape of it becomes clearer, your mind sharper. Checkmate, you say. One more game. Your first officer is tugging at your arm. Ignore them. You have chess to play. It's nice it gives you pages. We got 2 secrets. We're done. 41% chance I will not take those odds. Let's go ahead and gather intelligence. The older inhabitants of Port Cecil carry coral incrustations like a disease, splotched with silvery light. They like to go up into the limestone heights behind the harbor to lay their heads against the pillars and towers, stare at the roof of the Neath, dream open-eyed. Sometimes they speak of things far away, the Khanate work, the smuggler's wars, the fathomed kingdom of secrets. Perhaps it's not all invented. And let's go ahead and explore the coral knolls. Sea lamps dark around silvery coil. Humps and columns rise from the coral, bewildering maze. Go carefully. This was an empty cliff top above the waves. Now it blazes with color, striped tents, colored flames, the music of pianola and kettle drum. Mustachioed women and languorous men play chess, carve bones, eat cats, and polish their terrifying brass weapons. These are Iron Republic privateers, pirates who practices contravene the very laws of nature. We're going to run. Fragments of Meaning. We succeeded in a Veils challenge. They are speaking of a raid on Khan's glory from which they stole pieces of prayer on a boast of a royal hand made about stealing the Empress's wedding dress on the sort of spite meats which fills the heart with love. But they speak too, almost coherently, of privateer layers in the western wall, of passwords in use, of brass embassy protocols, of tuning techniques for drawing lost souls close. A buzzing rises in your brain as you listen until your eyes become unfocused and your tongue feels thick and heavy. You creep away before anything worse can happen, but it's an odd and useful miscellany of facts. We gained 1 terror, we gained 85 fragments, which is pretty good. And we're pretty well done here. We've got plenty of fuel. So let us continue east, shall we? No need to toss the sea bat, but I will anyway. We found the wreck of the Emperor Wolfgang. That's always there. But hey, we got some more points. Now then, what's the guess? Are the Khans directly south of us or directly east of us? I guess east would be easy enough. I know there's a bound shark there that I would much rather not bump into. So what else could be east of us? Well, we know that northeast of us is Polythreme, and I would actually like to find Polythreme. There's a reason I would like to find Polythreme. A couple of reasons, actually. We could make some easy money in Polythreme. And we can get an item that I would like, and we do have enough money on us to pull that off. Though we are a little low on spendable echoes at the moment. I'm kind of surprised. There's Skylar's End. Polythreme? No. Ah, this ship. We're going to kill our light for a second. That will make it more difficult on them. We're going to run into the ship a lot. If you remember correctly, we were told that the pirate poet goes around in an Alclaeus class corvette. That happens to be what this is. Ouch, we took a hit. She's actually doing a lot better job than she normally does at keeping away from me, which is really irritating. So the biggest thing is you want to kind of keep at the T behind them. You want to make sure the back of their ship is facing the middle of yours, if at all possible. They are going to waste a lot of time launching flares, which is fine by me. If I was being a little more careful, I would back away and get to the edge of my shooting distance where they would be unlikely to actually even see me. That was a bad move on my part. They could have made me pay for that, but they didn't. One or two more shots and this should be over. It's a long fight. She has a lot of hit points. Yep, 2 more shots. And we're done. Crippled, broken, already feeding disease and less hunger, little remains of the ship but scraps of sinking cargo, a few buoyant parts of its splintered carcass. It'd be quick to salvage anything. Captain, quick, over here, port side. Legendary clay woman corsair. She clings tight to the last few scraps of floating debris, defeated but defiant. Throw her a rope, claim a bounty. It takes 3 crewmen to pull the pirate poet from Aziz's clutches, while the others mutter about bringing an unfinished man, an unfinished woman, aboard ship. She just smirks. She carries little on her but the verses of poetry tattooed over every visible inch, and an old sword, almost as chipped as she is. Fortunately, her salvaged possessions also include the jingling money purse on her belt, fat and ready to pay the traditional freedom price of her current bounty. Much as the crew could subdue her, all are relieved once she is aboard a lifeboat rowing away through the darkness towards Gator's Morn. We got 400 echoes. I would say that was well worth the brief little scuffle there. Not that we really had a choice. She kind of just ran right up on us, really. So we are still looking for polythreme, which will hopefully be somewhere over here. I know I said I was looking for Khan's heart, and I am, but I do want to find polythreme as well. Also, it looks like Nuncio might be nearby as well. I wouldn't mind running into Nuncio. Polythreme is some distance to the northeast. I somewhat figured. We cannot buy fuel or supplies in polythreme, so do be careful. Do be careful in that regard. I'm kind of glad he ran into her, though. That gave me a little bit more money, and I feel a little bit safer about doing what I'm about to do, which is buying something relatively expensive. Here is Screaming. Tecaturn Claymen. Tecaturn Claymen. Evasive clothed colonies, walking like humans, cobbles that groan underfoot, on the hills above the palace villa of marble, but even that rise like buried bones of an earthquake. What news from Polythreme? City cries out. Roads roil, bricks quiver, the shadows of all buildings flash like eyes. The palace of the city swells and roars. Convulsion is how Claymen are born. Even now, somewhere below, they open their blind-seeming gray eyes. We will go ahead and we will carry Claymen to London. Are they passengers or cargo? They certainly the easiest passengers imaginable. Unless, just unless, one turns out to be an unfinished man. You have 6 units of cargo space available. Each one lies down in its appointed position next to the other, nestled snugly head by foot. We are for London, one explains to you. If we go to the shops, we can buy a We Are Clay for 300. We Are Clay goes in our auxiliary slot. The trio of clay stokers will reduce crew requirements, but also crew capacity, and will slightly increase engine power. Fidget auxiliary slot. When they're not in use, they will stand patiently, hands by their sides, flat gray eyes, unreadable. One will sometimes say, "I'd like it when it's quiet." This reduces our quarters by 3, increases our engine power by 250, and our iron by 5. One of my favorite items in the entire game, because the less crew you have, the less supplies you eat. And while it's hard to notice, we are actually moving faster. And it's more noticeable when you deal with creatures. Nuncio is indeed to our south. I thought it might be, given that I saw the rat ship sailing around. It's a pretty distinct looking vessel. Oh, but we are running very long. Well, that's alright. We'll dock at Nuncio and we'll continue from there next time. What an interesting little place, though we still have not found Khan's Heart, or Khan's Shadow. But I believe Nuncio does count as a place that you can buy fuel and supplies, and we will likely do both. Because we do have a little extra money, just in case. Yeah, we're good. Alright, until our paths cross again, have fun and stay safe, everyone.